Almost 850 years ago, a large, spirit-bathed turtle named Shen-zin met with a young Pandaren on their distant, locked home of Pandaria. As will be discussed later, Pandaria was hidden away from the world by magical mists, but for reasons uncertain, Shen-zin was able to both leave and return with relative impunity. As the creature grew and grew, many Pandaren slowly journeyed with it, settling and building a colony on the creature's massive back. When the young Pandaren finally passed away, peacefully, Shen-zin sailed away from Pandaria one last time, roaming the world's oceans unfettered. In more modern times, shortly after the Cataclysm began, the island was home to the Shen-zin monastery, wherein local Pandaren studied, trained, ate, and discussed philosophy and ideology. Most of this monastery belonged to one of two political identities. Ji Firepaw was the local leader of the Path of the Huozhen. Huozhen believe in practical, decisive action. Huozhen must remain flexible in their thinking, always evaluating for the greater good. They stand firmly against inaction. Asa Cloudsinger represented the path of the Tushui. Tushui believe in principles and the certainty of morality, a singular path of right and wrong, which must be preserved at all costs, even at sacrifice or loss. Ji and Asa were friends, despite their differing beliefs, and this represented the Pandaren as a whole, unity despite or even because of their differences. They were not always this way, although we will discuss the particulars later. For now, all one needs to know is that the Pandaren species is so old as to arguably be among the native races of Azeroth, alongside the truly ancient such as the Trolls or the Tauren. Both Ji and Asa were studied practitioners of the art of the monk, a form of shamanistic combat more focused upon spiritual and ancestral energies than elemental. Monks were skilled at all classifications of conflict, being able to damage, heal, and redirect in kind. Thus it served the perfect profession for most budding Pandarens, a way to keep in balance with themselves and that around them. It is no wonder why the vast majority of the world's population of monks are Pandaren. Shortly after the Cataclysm began, Shen-zin started having issues. Erratic movements disturbed the animals and inhabitants, which caused a bit of a domino effect across the isle. The young but brilliant Pandaren adventurers were pushed out of the Shen-zin monastery to recover 4 local elemental spirits and figure out what was going on. Between hazardous trials, overrun farms, and more Hosen raids, the elemental spirits were restored and the adventurers were able to reach out to the Great Turtle. As it happens, an Alliance gunship carrying Hellscream prisoners had crash-landed into his shell, causing him tremendous pain. The Alliance and Hellscream forces unified with the Pandaren adventurers against the local Saurok, followed shortly thereafter by lining explosives around the ship and detonating it, removing the thorn from the turtle's side. Sadly, this left a gaping wound, but with all 3 forces united, they were able to mend the mark, and promptly go back to fighting. Thankfully, as they were both on foreign shores and lacking the means to return home, the 2 sides agreed to a truce. But seeing both stirred seeds of restlessness within the adventurers, as well as many other Pandaren with them. Thus, both groups took with them those seeking out the greater world. The Tushui sided with Stormwind, those of Huozhen, Orgrimmar. And so the Pandaren slowly began to take their place as a part of Azeroth, aiding in combating the Cataclysm and its many effects, not the least of which being that the mists that had covered Pandaria for millennia were slowly parting.